You seem to still be up there somewhere.
Maybe I am. There are flying saucers.
Supposing they're Martians or something in there.
Hey guys, welcome back to another Weird Wednesday. I'm Asher's and this is
Cassie.
Cassie, how was your weekends?
Pretty uneventful. Not gonna lie. I did a lot of paintings. A lot. And that's all I did.
That's not uneventful. You know, some of our listeners do buy your paintings.
No, I know. Thank you. Thank you all. My back hurts really bad. My neck from just sitting and looking down and drawing. But like I've got good shows coming up in April and May, and I want to make sure I have enough to where I'm not freaking out in April and May after one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, that's not a bad idea. You know, right now is definitely a good time to get caught up on stuff because, you know, festival season, it comes and it comes hard.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't have a lot lined up this year, but I'm really spur of the moment type person anyways.
Yeah, same. I mean, I don't know. Right now I don't have a lot lined up and that's okay because I got other stuff going on. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But very exciting.
I found this my awesome Jimmy like Rhoda the Witch animatronic on Facebook Marketplace, and it was like 20 minutes away. So I'm like, I want that. It was only $50. Looked at the resale price on it, was like, oh, I can make my money back times 4. And
does she work?
Pick that up.
Does she work?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I walked up to this house. Super nice house. Brick house. Beautiful. I knew it was going to work as soon as I looked at the house. But he had it plugged in on the porch for me. Scared the shit out of me when I walked up because I didn't realize he had it plugged in. And then, yeah, everything worked great. And it's in my garage now, waiting for the halfway to Halloween flea market in May.
There's definitely some really crazy stuff out there on Marketplace. And let me tell you, the stuff that you get advertised. So me and my best friend, we have a particular interest in McDonald's.
Yeah.
And, you know, we always like find shit online and like send it back and forth. And so now I get all this really neat like McDonald's stuff that like I want, but you know, I don't, where the fuck? Where am I going to put a Ronald McDonald in my house? You know?
Hey man, like I saw that Home Depot is coming out with a raptor skeleton for Halloween this year, like a big one that's eyes glow. And I already told Brandon, I was like, we're getting it and I'm putting it in the office.
Yeah, sorry. I still want the 11-foot tall Mothman animatronic.
That thing was so big. Like when you're standing next to it, it looks bigger than the skeletons.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because of the wings and everything. Yeah. The thing's huge. Freaking huge.
It's really I didn't see anybody. You know, we do the we do that basically the Halloween tour around town every year, and I didn't see anybody that had the Mothman, which I was a little surprised and disappointed. But like at the Mothman festival, there was like 4 of them.
I'm assuming they're probably more expensive than the skeletons and stuff, right?
I think a little bit because they are animatronics, but I don't remember how much he was. But I was like, I could get that. I almost bought it just to put it at my mom's house, just so I have it.
No, put it at your house.
But where?
Anywhere.
I don't have 11-foot tall ceilings.
It doesn't matter. Have them like hunched.
Just pose them up. It'll be all right.
Right.
Yeah, I would. I'd put them right next to my bed. Yeah. And I'd keep them on all the time.
Just have his eyes glowing out the window.
Like, what the fuck is that? Year round?
Oh, it's not that. It's about the same price. It's probably less than the skeletons when they just came out. It's $400.
Yeah, see, that's doable. Don't tip me, damn it. Yeah, I will buy it. Yeah, it's well, and a Ronald McDonald. They'll be buds,
right?
Mothman and Ronald McDonald. I don't even eat McDonald's. I'm not even like a McDonald's. What do you get when you go to McDonald's? What do you get?
A McFlurry.
Oh yeah, good choice.
Because I don't eat that food.
Choice, yeah.
But I will fuck with that ice cream.
either. And I'm not like one of those people that's like, oh, fast food is terrible for you, even though it is. But I've done some Taco Bell a time or two in my day. But I'm just not a McDonald's fan. And it's crazy because I was like watching this video about it, about how, if everybody hates McDonald's, like how are they still, because I don't think I've ever talked to anybody that's like, I love McDonald's.
Kids.
True. Kids.
The
That's
children.
true. But they do sell. I mean, they are the highest earning fast food chain. So like people are there.
The only one that I will voluntarily go to, being an adult and knowing that food hurts my stomach a lot more now, is Arby's.
I do like some Arby's.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while. A nice beef and cheddar classic.
Yeah, if I have to get fast food, I will drive to Arby's.
Good stuff. I'm a Skyline fan lately.
I don't even know what that is.
You don't know what Skyline is, and you're an Ohioan?
I live in Millersburg.
My teenager audibly gasped.
Hey.
It's like an Ohio staple.
Be nice to me. I'm older than your mother.
Skyline. Cincinnati chili?
No.
Oh my God. It's like a spice. We really got to have that girls' weekend. We're going to go hit up some Skyline.
You know what I was thinking? Maybe we could just have a weekend and get together down by you, and maybe the Nerd Bar will let us do a meet and greet live episode there.
Ooh, they definitely would.
That'd be cool.
That would be a lot of fun. We'll talk about it. Anyway.
Sorry, I just threw that out there in the middle of nowhere, but I was thinking about that the other day.
The listener should be prepared because we could definitely make that happen. And then we'll have Skyline. It'll be great. We'll cater in Skyline to the Nerd Bar.
Okay.
And it'll be fun. You can play board games with us too. We'll do Monopoly or something, even though it's 10 hours long. But
so are some of these campaigns they're playing.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. We'll do. We'll play some D&D in honor of Tobias. We'll ask his opinion. We'll have him pick the game, and then that's what we'll play.
Okay.
That's the thing. But anyway, yeah, my weekend was also pretty. It was okay. It was pretty uneventful. I shipped some books out. Definitely get on it. My stock in my home is dwindling. Your Strange Guide to Ohio, Volume 1, autographed copies. Message me directly. Or you can buy it on Amazon, I guess, but I haven't touched those ones, so.
Do I have to message you?
Yeah, you're right. I got to send you some, don't I? Oops. Well, I didn't send yours this way. I sent everybody else's except yours. I will, I'll get on that. How about that? And then I watched.
I did see people post, though, that they got theirs in the mail.
Did you? I didn't. I guess I have seen. Yeah, I have seen.
Was it Chris maybe posted?
Chris did. Yeah, Chris did. I sent his out a little bit early. He had actually messaged me. So Chris Holm, he was supposed to come to Frogman Festival, and he's in Texas.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so he was going to fly out and come pick the books up in person, but he got sick, so he had to cancel. So he had messaged me right before Frogman and was like, hold me back some books. And I'm like, I got you. So he got his a little early, but whatever. But yeah, definitely purchase your book. And then I watched a documentary called Bazaar. And
is it about a craft bazaar?
Man, yes and no, kind of. In a way.
Is it an oddities festival?
Sorta. Kinda. It's about Bob Berdella. And if you don't know who Bob Berdella is, me and Pat O did a show about him a long time ago. It was titled The Serial Killer You've Probably Never Heard of. Bob Berdella tortured to death multiple men in his home. And listen, when I tell you, this is probably one of the worst true crime cases I've ever encountered in my entire life. I fucking mean it. He tortured these men and kept a log of all the torture that he conducted with the men, and eventually they died and he would get another one. Well, Bob also ran a Bob's Bazaar out of the local flea market there, where he did sell like oddities and stuff. But the documentary Bazaar was really interesting to me about it was that it's a trauma film. So
Okay.
people that know trauma known, that we love trauma here. I love trauma. And, it's all very campy, very low budget. And it's kind of like half documentary, half reenactment. So being a trauma film, within the first 5 minutes, you get full frontal male nudity.
Okay.
It's great. It's really, really campy. It's not the best, if you're like, oh, a documentary about Bob Burdella, don't watch this. But if you're like, oh, a documentary about Bob Burdella and it's a trauma film, 1,000% check it out. 1,000%, because it is a lot of fun. And they do a lot of interviews with, people that knew Bob, around the town. And I always like that, it's not just, the prosecutors and stuff behind it, the lawyers and things. It is like people in town that knew this guy, that frequented his bazaar. Some people he gave gifts to. And of course, people always wondered, was Bob, because Bob was, he'd sell shit like human skulls and stuff. Were they his victims? He insists no. That's not the case. There was like a bit where they were talking about, at the flea market, they would do like a potluck, and it would be like, everybody would kind of take turns bringing in their own meals and stuff. And Bob was like really good at cooking. And so people, of course, after the fact, question of,
hell no.
yeah, question if some of them were, victims. And he insists that they weren't, but we don't know now. It's gone, right? So anyway.
Do you remember like when Ed Kemper got caught and was going to trial and stuff, and he was trying to get the insanity plea, so he told them that he was a cannibal and that he would cook up his victims and like give them to people in the neighborhood at barbecues and stuff. And then he took it when they said that he wasn't getting the insanity. He's like, yeah, I never did that shit. That's gross.
Just kidding. I don't remember that, but I believe it about Ed Kemper. What a swell guy. We'll have to talk about him one of these times.
Yeah.
Just to kind of,
Mr.
pull it up.
Suave.
Jeez. But, some people thought that there was that one Dahmer documentary that had like, they interviewed like the residents in his apartment building and stuff. And they talked about how he would like give them food. And, they always wondered because he was a cannibal.
Right.
But again, he insists that he never fed anybody anything. So that's good.
I don't think I would ever wonder. I just wouldn't want to know. I'm just going to shove that shit aside and be like, it was a good burger.
Yeah. Grade A beef there.
Right.
I think that you're right. I think you kind of, do you really want to know? If that's the case. I think there was a case of one serial killer who did feed his victims to other people, that didn't know. I think his name was John Matheny or something like that. It was something weird. I have to look him up, but yeah, he did. He ran like a food truck or something, and would process some of his victims that way. Anyway,
Wow. All right.
Very food heavy episode. All right. So I don't have any news this week, but I do have some kind of more commentary about the emerging Patterson Gimlin film hoax. Do you want me to go, or do you want to go with your traditional news?
Let me do my traditional news, and then we'll get into like the weird Bigfoot shit.
Sure.
Okay. So I opened this article. I was streaming on Facebook, and I hit or Instagram, whatever. I hit a thread, and I opened up the article because it said Roblox owner arrested for child pornography. And I was like, no shit, you got to be kidding, right? Well, yeah, it was a bunch of freaking lies. So I read it though, and it was quite interesting. There's a 30-year-old named Jamie Bourne who claimed that he worked for Roblox. A probation check was being done at his house, and they found a child-sized sex doll in his bedroom. It had features that resembled those of a child under the age of 18 and was dressed in children's clothing. So the probation officer had to go back for a judge and get like a warrant to search like the rest of his house because they thought that was odd, and the judge granted it. So they went back and found that he had several BDSM toys and condoms placed near the doll, and Bourne admitted to having child pornography, which they found on several of his seized hard drives. Roblox reached out and said they have more than 2 million creators using the technology, and they have banned all of Bourne's experiences and accounts. He was charged with 40 counts of felony pornography involving juveniles under the age of 13 and 1 felony for possessing, trafficking, or importing a child sex doll. So, why the fuck are we letting our kids play that game?
Gosh, Roblox is a problem.
Yeah. 2 million users and they ban 1. Good job.
Right. Yeah, because we have become aware of all the different predators on there. And I will say that, my kid plays it. But she's not she would never. I know I say that, but she's very, very likely on the spectrum somewhere. She has absolutely zero interest whatsoever at all in anything that is even remotely sexual. So I don't think that she would ever fall prey to something like that. But, because I've kind of seen how it works, there's like certain phrases that aren't even like bad that you can't even use on the program. So I'm largely unfamiliar with how people are preying on kids on it.
Right. But like when I was reading it and he said that he worked for Roblox, like maybe like technically he thought that was his job somehow and he was getting close to these kids for work purposes. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that they can make money. Because it's all user based. So like you program your own game and then people come on there through the game and play your game.
Well, he said he imported this sex doll from China, that it was a child sex doll. And when the officers asked him why he had it, he said he's very lonely.
Oh, poor predator. Wow. Well, oh wait, nope. Fuck him, and he should get the death penalty. I didn't realize it was, which I guess is good, but I didn't realize it was illegal to have a child sex doll.
Even if it's not illegal, it's gross as shit.
It should be illegal, but like I said,
maybe it's not illegal in China, but it's illegal for getting it here, I guess.
No, good for us. Like I said, I didn't realize that was a law. It's real sad that it has to be one.
Mm-hmm.
But also here we are. That's the reality of it.
I don't think anybody knows it's a law because why would China send it here?
Well, that's true. Well, I guess you can get things that are illegal on the internet everywhere.
Right. But are they just making laws up? Because what they say, that's gross. Let's make up a law.
I hope so. It took one fucking guy with a child sex doll. They're like, yeah, this should be illegal. And everybody looked at each other and went, yeah, it should.
It's not something you see often, but.
That is really weird. But why does he have toys for his... I don't know if I want to know that. Never mind. I'm what the fuck?
He's lonely, man.
What is this?
But do you see why I thought that was interesting?
God.
I'm so glad I clicked on it.
Typically the thing is that normally, it's not just him. So I'm hoping that maybe this turns into like a sting or a bust of some sort where they're able to find other people. Surely it's not just him.
No, it can't be. They can probably trace that doll back to its manufacturer and see who else ordered one.
No, I'm sure he's trading pictures and stuff. I watch, I know you guys probably think I sit around and watch Mothman stuff on YouTube all the time. I don't. I watch people catching predators all the time.
Yeah.
On YouTube too.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching it for years. Back during the pandemic, they would do all these live streams. YouTube's really cracked down on these people, which is fucking ridiculous. But yeah, they used to like live stream live catches, and I used to watch all of them. They just would be on in the background. And I mean, the amount of people nowadays, it's like everybody, like all these predators are on Telegram, which is like a social media app, but it's like untraceable. It's like untrackable, and it's like a horrible place for people.
Is anything really untrackable?
I think that they can trace it a little bit more, but I don't think that there's like a policing algorithm that would like tip anybody off to where.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you're sharing terrible material like that online. I should probably put a trigger warning on this episode, but yeah, no, it's insane the type of people that you come across, and it's weird.
What is the trigger warning going to say? Warning, trigger warning, in case you're afraid of other triggers.
Trigger warning for your triggers, yeah. But it gets kind of wholesome later on in the episode. No, it's never a drag queen. It's weird, but it's I keep hearing all the time that drag queens are like predators and stuff, but like these guys, they don't ever catch drag queen. A lot of times it's like married men.
Right.
Maybe like 1% of the time it's a woman. And usually it's not just a woman. It's like a man and a woman, a couple.
But it's never a drag queen.
Never. I think maybe one time there was one drag queen out of probably hundreds of videos that I've seen. It's shocking, really. Anyway, wow, what's some news? Let's get away from the child predators.
Yeah, let's just get to the predators.
Let's just get to the regular predators. The Bigfoot community.
That's not what I meant.
Oh.
I meant the actual Bigfoot.
Oh. But am I wrong, though? Let's speak for me. So, as you guys know, last week, the news kind of broke about this new Capturing Bigfoot documentary coming out that showcases Bigfoot is fake. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because if you listen to the show, you already know. And let me tell you, if you're in this community at all, your feeds are probably flooded with it.
Yes, they are.
The documentary has not come out yet. Okay, it's not out. And so far, to my knowledge, okay, and I'm pretty knowledgeable because all I've done is also engross myself in this. And this is why I had a boring weekend, because all I did was fucking comment on Facebook about this shit. Nobody's seen it except for this Harry Man Road guy on YouTube. I think I finally said his name right. Harry Man Road or something like that. I think his first name is Eric, but I don't know. I'm not familiar with him aside from him seeing this documentary, putting out his review on it, and now he's made a second video talking about it. He has proof that he's seen it. He went to the South by Southwest Film Festival, and he's got his ticket where he went and saw it, and he's a Bigfoot guy. He doesn't want the Patterson-Gimlin film to be fake. I know that much about him, right? Like, he doesn't want this, but he has definitely described almost to a T exactly what happens, exactly what you saw, and he says, I'm sorry, guys, but it's true. It's a hoax. The Patterson-Gimlin film is fake. And everybody still has an opinion on it. And people who are well respected in this community have a very strong opinion on it. And they're convinced that this is just that Capturing Bigfoot is a hoax, that this is the hoax, and the Patterson-Gimlin film is real. And it's just people trying to, market, make money off of the Patterson-Gimlin film. Which is really ironic considering that's what they've done their entire careers. But let me sip my tea. But no, really, I mean, just to be so honest with you, the denial that has been going on it's not so much that it's surprising, because as somebody who has said that the Land Between the Lakes Dogman attack is fake for many years, I'm very used to it. But the fact that the denial's being recognized by a bigger majority in the community is actually very validating to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm a Patty fan also. I have fought so hard for this footage for years. You couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me that those weren't real Bigfoot titties on that screen. Okay, for years. You couldn't tell me nothing about this. And now that this is coming out, what we know we have, based off of somebody who's in the Bigfoot community who has seen the documentary, we have Patty Patterson, Roger's widow. We have Clint Patterson, Roger's son. We have Dr. Jeff Meldrum. We have Bob Gimlin being confronted by Bob Hieronymus and his own and clans. We have this 40 seconds of footage that shows an exact replica of Patty, slightly different because it's somebody else in the suit, but it's the suit. Brand new footage. Bob Gimlin chasing this figure on the screen. Everything points to this being a hoax, and that makes me sad. It does. It makes me sad. But I'm not such a fucking moron or grifter that I'm going to go on social media and call all this a lie. And we've seen people who are important, who people deem important in this community, call this a lie. People like Matt Moneymaker.
You said the name.
I did, and I don't normally
Calling out the big dogs.
I don't normally do that on this show because here's the thing: is that Matt Moneymaker's audience is bigger than mine.
Well, yeah,
and they're going to believe him no
he's
matter
on
what.
TV,
Right?
Or he was on TV.
Well, yeah, he was on TV. I fucking had like 8 seasons of Finding Bigfoot, and guess what? He never found
Bigfoot.
Not once. Not one time. But no, I normally don't do that because normally it seems really unproductive for me to do that because, like I said, people are going to believe him no matter what. It doesn't matter what logic and facts say. They're just going to follow him because they always have and they always will. And there's no reason to put me as the target of their attacks. So normally I don't mention these people because it doesn't benefit me at all. It just opens me up to unnecessary drama. I'm not here for the drama. I'm here for the facts.
It doesn't matter anyways. I mean, this is your opinion. They have their opinions. I mean, let them speak them. You don't have to give them
fuck it.
like anything back.
Tell all of you, hate listen to the show, damn it. Do it. I dare you. I dare you. It's all you do is make me money. So fucking call me.
I can tell you right now, I will not comment on something that you're trying to get me heated about.
That's fair. And that's the
not that the Bigfoot thing's going to get me heated, but I'm just saying, like, if I can tell you're trying to make me heated, I'm not going to comment and waste my time.
Yeah, I'm just going to block you. It's just the way it is. But
I'm not even going to block you. I'm just going to let you sit there and like wait for me to respond. It's not going to happen.
It will never come. It'll be 20 years down the line. They're like, did you respond yet? Yeah, I mean, but in this case, I'm so fucking embarrassed by like what this man is doing and like the stuff that he's saying. And he's not the only one. Okay, I'll tell you that. And there have been other people who have tried to be a little more neutral about it, but what they're essentially saying is like, I don't believe this documentary, and that's fine. A neutral opinion, and this is exactly what I said to Mr. Moneymaker, is that the responsible thing to do right at this moment is to remain neutral as a researcher until we've seen it. None of us have fucking seen it. None of us.
I mean, you can't really tell me about something that you haven't seen. Right. Even though that's what he's been doing his whole life, is trying to tell me about something he's never seen.
No, of course he claims that a trusted source of his has seen the documentary and that the suit looks nothing like Patty. Who's your source, Matt?
I guess I never took it into account either that the suit would look different depending on who was in it.
Well, of course it would. It wouldn't be as filled out or,
right, but I never thought about that. That's what I was just thinking. Like, I never thought that.
He said that they ended up putting football shoulder pads and stuff in there. I mean, what they probably did, and I don't know because I haven't seen it, but what they probably did is they probably they think it's Al Diatley in the fucking, which is Ryder Patterson's brother-in-law. They probably put him in the suit first and then filmed it and then kind of worked out the kinks, right?
Okay.
as like everybody's calling it a dry run. This is a dry run. This was filmed in '66, and they put Aldi in the suit, and it probably didn't look as convincing. So they looked and thought, well, what can we do to make it look better? And then that's when they put potentially Bob Hieronymus in the suit. Which is, listen, I will fucking eat crow and issue an apology to Bob Hieronymus, because I've talked a lot of shit about that guy over the years. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not. I can admit that, and that's the difference between you and I, Matt Moneymaker, or whoever the fuck else, right? I'm an adult. I don't care. It's Bigfoot. We don't know if it's real.
Yeah.
But and then they probably put somebody like Bob Hieronymus or maybe somebody else into the suit that time when they filmed the official film, and they beefed it up, right? They put shoulder pads on it, football shoulder pads, to kind of beef up bulk up the creature, and maybe stuff the legs a little bit. Who knows? But that's probably why this piece of film was made. I don't know. We can't ask Roger. He's dead now. He's dead. And the only person that we could even begin to potentially ask would be Bob Gimlin. And Bob's like 94 years old.
Yeah, he's definitely, he's getting up there.
He's up there. And you know what? I don't blame him. Even if it comes out that he's in on the lie, I don't blame him for never making a statement about it. He doesn't owe anybody anything.
No.
It's fucked up that he lied. I'm sure he's got his reasons, whether that be fame or because he felt guilty or because he wanted to be a part of something. It doesn't matter. The man's 94.
If he lied this whole time, that man is a legend.
Right, just for that alone.
Right.
Even if the whole thing is fake, they're both legends. This is the best fucking hoax in all of human history. It's tricked everybody. It's tricked professionals and special effects. It's tricked fucking professionals in anthropology, like Jeff Meldrum, who definitely was a smart man. It's tricked all these people. Even if it is fake, it's so fucking impressive. And it doesn't mean that Bigfoot's not real. It just means that this image of Bigfoot is not real. That's it. That's all it means. But when you go and you start accusing people of some bullshit, and all you do all day long is sit on social media and try to discredit facts, we need to stop idolizing these people, folks. We need to knock them down off their high horse. Like, we're done with that. Let's be done with that. If you're serious about finding Bigfoot for real and really making some progress here, stop idolizing the fucking grifters. Please. Jesus. And I'm not saying this because I'm bitter, because I wish I had a TV show or anything like that. I don't give a fuck about any of that. I have an 8 to 5 job.
I don't want a TV show. No, learning everything that we've learned from a guest on the show and like people that I've met at shows and people on the TV shows that have become my friends. Like, screw that. All it is people, you have to lie to get paid.
You do. You have to lie.
That'd be the worst job ever for me.
Yep. Yeah. You have to. You have to lie to get paid. And that's the bottom line of it. Again, I don't need any of that. I can get famous off the internet just by flashing my titties every once in a great while. It ain't that difficult out here. Okay.
Well, it's like after 10 years of sobriety, like, I'm not lying anymore. That life was way too fucking hard. I don't care if I'm getting paid or not. You're going to get the truth.
I'm just saying, it's not about any of that. If 2 people listen to this podcast going on, I'll still continue to do it fucking forever. It doesn't have to do with any of that. I didn't get into this because I wanted to be rich and famous. I didn't choose to get into this. I got into this because the weird chose me, and that's why we're here. Okay. And that, again, that's the difference between me and people like that. And that always will be. And so I'm going to absolutely take this opportunity of what's happening right now. And all these people are attacking this Eric guy, and he didn't fucking do anything but go watch the movie.
Yeah, he did what none of you guys got up and did.
Right. You all haven't seen it. He did. And he told us what's in it. Now you're mad at him because he was honest. Like, fuck that. No way. No fucking way. go check out his channel. I'll link it in the description. Go check him out and give him some support, because thank God he went and did this and has been honest again. I don't see any reason for him to lie.
Well, there's no reason for any of them to lie, but they're doing it.
I don't know. Money. I mean, the dude literally changed his name to Moneymaker. He chose that name. He picked it.
Yeah.
And we're all like, okay. That's good. Good for him. Let's put him on fucking
I'm going to change my name to Gucci Vuitton.
You should. The whole name or just the last name? Or
No, the whole name. My first name will be Gucci.
Gucci.
My last name will be Vuitton.
You should.
My middle name could be Louis.
Change it to whatever you want. You're allowed. You're allowed to do that. And then people might start talking about you. Or I guess not, because when you change your name to something ridiculous like Moneymaker, people are like, oh, yeah, it's just a normal name that anybody chooses.
Right.
Doesn't have anything to do with grifting.
I'm the most, like, country folk person you'll ever meet. My name's Gucci Vuitton.
Gosh, I'm just saying. On the flip
My
side,
wallet has Frankenstein on it, not, like...
I'm gonna change. That's what I'm gonna change my name to, Frankenstein. Just Frankenstein.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah, just not Doctor, not Victor, not Frankenstein's monster, just Frankenstein. You can call me Frankie for short. That's what the kid changed his name to in Big Daddy.
Yeah. Frankenstein.
Damn it. That's already chosen. I guess I have to pick something else. I'm gonna pick Wolfman.
It's just Wolfman. Van Helsing.
Okay, so on the flip side of the Bigfoot community, I did hear something super wholesome. I was listening to Last Podcast on the Left, which I do. God, I hate to say it, but that's like the only podcast I listen to. I do enjoy it. And they do... There's such a similar show to ours, and that's why I started listening to it to begin with, is because people are like, it's like Last Podcast on the Left. I'm like, well, let me hear it. But they do, instead of them doing like news in the episode and then, whatever, they do a whole episode of just news every week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then they also do, they cover a lot of like Epstein stuff lately and all kinds of stuff. And they'll do like, of course they're all comedians and stuff. So they'll talk about different things in Hollywood and things like that, pop culture things. But their most recent one from last week was talking about the Bigfoot flap in Ohio, right? The Bigfoot sightings in Ohio. And I mean, they gave Jeremiah Byron so much attention. Like basically like he's the guy, he's the one. They referred to him as the John Keel of this thing.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God. So I sent Jeremiah a message. I was like, the John Keel of Bigfoot, huh?
Did he know what you were talking about?
He did. Yeah. Somebody else had told him about it because I'm a little late listening to it. And he was like, he sent me a message and he's like, please, I just want things to go back to normal. And then
Don't want the spotlight no more.
I told him enjoy it while he can. It'll die down eventually, but yeah, he has had his hands fucking filled.
I believe that. I tried to give him some credit when I posted about last week's episode.
I know, and now here we are talking about him again,
right?
Sending more people his way. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's super wholesome. Nobody deserves it more than Jeremiah. I'll tell you what. He's worked hard to get to where he is. But he needs to like hire a secretary or something now.
He's got kids. Like one of them's got to be old enough, right?
Put him to work. But I just wanted to mention that and give him a little shout out because he's doing the damn thing. And again, when we're talking about people that you should probably support, Jeremiah Byron for all things Bigfoot for real.
Yeah, and if we're shouting out people that we know on these podcast things, so Mr. Jeff from Strangeology, he posted like a short video clip of like his explanation of the Bigfoot flaps coinciding with the asteroid and where the asteroid hit and where the Bigfoot sightings and which way they were traveling and how this happened so many years ago with a UFO sighting and Bigfoot's coming out of that UFO too. And it kind of like it made sense how he explained it.
If you want to understand how it's explained, go watch Strangeology. And
Yeah, that guy's really smart. It's way more than my brain can handle right now.
yeah. Jeff's also a really cool guy. Known Jeff for many years.
Oh yeah, it's definitely.
Back when he was just a little tiny, little nothing. And he's blown up. He's definitely done very well for himself.
He does research.
Yeah, he's super interesting. And that is a really good point. I hadn't considered that because you had texted me and you're like, so what about, do you think that was really a meteor? And I'm like, yeah, probably. It happens,
Right.
But we were talking about how we had not seen anybody who had gotten one of the shards of the meteor. And I still haven't, to be honest with you, but I've heard that people are out hunting for them.
Well, I saw a couple of people post some stuff that they thought were meteors, but it hasn't been determined yet.
Interesting. But that is a good point that Jeff makes, because that area is known for very specifically Bigfoot and UFO sightings happening at the same time.
Yeah, and it's not far, a little west of there. No, a little east of there is the Chestnut Ridge.
Yep, absolutely is. And a little northeast from there is Erie with the famous, my favorite Bigfoot encounter with Beach 6 and the UFO/Bigfoot encounter by the family and the police and everybody.
And
Kecksburg. Yeah, I mean, it is a really strange area. So I don't know. I had seen somebody post about they had conspiracies going on because why are we not warning people? Because there was just another meteor that hit over, I think, in Texas.
Yeah, and there was one in Germany too.
We've had, in Germany also. Yeah, we've had a lot of them happening, and they wanted to know, why aren't people being warned about these? You're not going to believe this, or maybe you will if you know the general state of things, but we actually don't know that they're happening. They don't show up. They're too small to show up on telescopes. And, as much money as NASA does make, it has been severely underfunded for a couple of years now. Probably ever since the initial moon landing, if I'm honest with you. And we just don't have the funds to create telescopes that can hone in on things that small. Now, we do have them to hone in on things that are big, because then that would be catastrophic to whole communities, whereas these small asteroids, the one in Ohio, I think was 6 feet. It wasn't very big.
No, and I don't know how big the one in Texas was, but when it actually hit the guy's house, the piece that did, it was tiny. It was just moving very fast.
But that's kind of I won't ever forget. There's a story that I've heard many years ago, and I don't even know if it's true, about how somebody was in their home. Some old man or woman was in their home watching TV, and then they suddenly fucking died because the tiniest little piece of meteorite crashed at their home and went straight to their brain.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't know if that's true, but I believe that it could be. I think it was a segment on 1,000 Ways to Die or something.
It probably was real then.
You ever seen that show? It's
yeah.
I don't know.
Come on, with Sex Sent Me to the ER and Cheaters and stuff.
Mansers.
Yep.
Remember Mansers? I was trying to explain the Man Show to my daughter not that long ago. How just we would just absolutely never. Oh, I was telling her about Crack Spackle.
What the fuck were you talking about Crack Spackle for?
I don't know. They were talking about someone having plumber's crack, and I just remembered Crack Spackle. I don't know. We're talking about it.
All right.
Well, I was trying to explain to her the Man Show, and just God, what a wild time we lived in.
Nothing was filtered.
No, it wasn't. And we hated it. We hated those times. I don't know why I didn't. I had a great time.
Right.
I have this idea that we're falling back into or we definitely have fallen back into more of a Puritan culture, where, it's as women, we started to become really empowered because we were finally we could be sexy, right? We could showcase our sex and use it. We could utilize it as a weapon and make it work for us, but then now, all of a sudden, I mean, that happened for just a short couple of years. And now it's you can't even mention the word sex without somebody screaming about how you didn't have their consent to do so. It's really insane. It's really wild. Anyway.
That's why I don't open my mouth and give as many opinions as I would like to give.
Because you'll piss somebody off.
And I don't really care if I piss somebody off. It's just they have so many different like ways to utilize like social media and stuff to get back at me when I don't want to deal with it.
No. Yeah, you don't want to do it. I agree with that. But you know, again, that's what the block button's for. Block them.
Doesn't mean they can't post it still.
Hey, let them. I don't know about it.
Somebody else will and try to tag me in it, and I can't see it.
I'm blocking you. Don't bring this drama to my doorstep. I know what the fuck I said, damn it.
Right?
You know, not that I can't be wrong, because I can be, but again, that's the difference. I
know I can be wrong, but other people don't know that they can be wrong.
Put that on a t-shirt and sell it. Let's talk about this woman that slept for 32 years, huh?
Yeah, she had the life right there.
Right. She didn't have to worry about being right or wrong. She was just asleep. This is
I want to turn the light on so bad so I can read my notes, but this new chair that I was telling you about, it has like it's like a trampoline kind of at an angle, and you sit in and your butt goes like all the way to the ground, and I cannot get up.
Oh no.
I was hoping Brandon would come in to take a shower and turn the light on for me.
Now you're stuck there forever.
I mean, I'll get up, but it's going to make a lot of noise and Nate's not going to like me.
Just hit your mute button.
I don't even know where that is.
Oh my gosh. Oh my fucking grandma.
Please don't ask me to do anything technical during one of our episodes.
Jeez. It's right beside your little microphone, right beside your name with a little hand.
The little hand? Oh, okay. I'm going to hit that, but I'm still here.
Okay. You do your thing, Grandma. You didn't mute yourself. You just raised your hand.
You said it's the hand.
It's right by the hand. I'm not editing any of this out. This is all staying. I see you figured it out. Good for you. Congratulations. My goodness gracious. So Grandma here brought this episode brought this topic to the podcast, I should say. And you know, what a great find, really, genuinely. You know, I think that this is a really interesting story. I think that nobody knows about it. I didn't know about it, surely. So we're definitely going to get into it as soon as you come back after.
Don't edit any of it.
There you are. You're back.
I'm back.
Do you want to put your hand down now, or are you?
I didn't know it still stayed up. Why does that go up? Like, why? What is that for?
It's like, so like if there was like 10 of us talking, like people could raise their hand because they have something to say, like a classroom.
That's so stupid.
It's like a virtual hand.
Nobody raises their hand in class anymore.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh, I'm here." Yeah, that's true. Oh gosh. Anyway, how did you find out about this woman?
You told me.
No, you told me about her.
I didn't tell you about her.
Oh my gosh.
I told you about Mary DeFoe.
Well, then how did I find out about this?
I don't know.
Oh my god! I thought you told me about her. Okay, well then I lied. Cassie did not bring this episode to this topic to the show. I did. You're welcome. No, this is a super interesting story, very old, but we're definitely going to get into what we know as the facts, and then of course the speculation about what happened here. So her name is, I'm going to go with Karolina Olsson.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Because that seems right. So Karolina Olsson was born October 29th, 1861, in, I believe it's Okno, Sweden.
That's what I would say as well.
Perfect. She was born to a very poor family, just consisting of her mother, her fisherman father, and her 4, sometimes 5 brothers, depending on where you're getting the account from. Either way, she was the only girl in the whole family. So very, very precious. On February the 18th of 1876, when Karolina was 14 years old, she suffered a head wound. but she seemed okay. I couldn't really tell what the details were of the head wound. Did she get hit in the head by a shovel?
It says that she tripped and fell on the ice.
Oh, okay. Let's say I couldn't find that, so I don't know. I did not see that anywhere. So she tripped and fell on ice, had a head wound, but yeah, she got up and she was fine. But a couple of days later, on February the 22nd, she came home from school. She had a pretty treacherous walk to and from school. And we're going to talk about school a little bit later, but she had come home complaining of a toothache. Her mother, believing that obviously the toothache was the cause of witchcraft, because that's the only reasonable explanation at that time, said, hey, why don't you just go in your bedroom and why don't you just sleep it off? Just go on in there and sleep it off.
Sleep off the witchy shit.
And that's where the story begins here, because she would in fact go sleep it off. She would more than sleep it off. She would not wake up again for 32 years. Okay.
That's a long time.
I'm 34.
Yeah, I'm 37.
Right. Like, that's just a couple years shy of how long we have been alive.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine? No.
Wow.
32 years. Yeah, that's that's initial shock going on. Okay, so they couldn't afford a doctor, right? So they were just kind of trying to wake her up, and she she wouldn't wake up. And for a couple of days, they're just like, well, maybe we should do something about this eventually. After a few days of Karolina not waking up, not responding to any of them at all, they do eventually have a neighbor felt so bad they offered the money to pay for the town doctor to come and figure out what was going on. And he did. He showed up, and the doctor determined that she was in fact in a coma, but he didn't know why. He didn't know what the cause was.
First, they were taking advice from a neighborhood midwife because they couldn't afford the doctor. And being a midwife, had no idea what the heck was going on. So that's when the mother started giving her milk and sugar water to sustain her while she was asleep.
The midwife's like, I got this, don't worry.
Right.
She spread her legs real wide. She said, okay, now push.
They put the milk and sugar water in with a turkey baster.
Maybe this will do it, huh?
Give her some nutrients.
Oh, poor thing. The midwife's like, I don't smack her on the butt. That usually helps the babies. But yeah, they did. They started feeding her a mixture of milk and sugar water, which we'll talk about the feedings as well here in a little bit. The town doctor being so perplexed by this girl's condition, and not really understanding what was going on, he starts inviting other colleagues over. And over the course of the next couple of years, various doctors would come from all over attempting to wake this girl up, not just determine a cause, but trying to wake her up and, trying to figure out what's going on, what happened here. And nobody could really figure out what was going on. Now, what some people mention in the story is that her hair, her fingernails, her toenails, they all appeared to stop growing. So allegedly she was getting no maintenance on these things. Meanwhile, they just continued to stay pristine in the way they were. Sometimes the family did report that she would randomly sit up in bed and mumble and scream various prayers, but didn't seem to be cognizant of the fact that she was doing that. And then she would lay right back down again, and then out she was.
And she would never open her eyes either when she did that, I don't think.
Yeah, it was weird. Now, the doctors never saw that happen.
Right.
But that's what they were reporting was happening at the time. Now, one doctor, Johann Emil Omblad, I think is how you say his name. Because
I'm not even trying that one.
Omblad. He suspected that her state was due to a severe case of hysteria, that this was all in her head and that she was in fact awake. But this was caused by some type of mental illness. Finally, in July of 1892, 16 years after this had all started, she was hospitalized and she was treated with electroconvulsive therapy, which is electroshock therapy, repeatedly until August 1892, when the treatments were doing nothing. And they just really couldn't do anything for her, and they just pushed her out the door, sent her back to the family. They diagnosed her officially with something called dementia paralytica, which is almost akin to, I mean, it is a psychosomatic disorder. It's not really that she's in a coma. Again, it's that she's just kind of subconsciously choosing not to be awake. And she would not go to the doctor again after that until she woke up. That was pretty much
Well,
it.
they that dementia one. I don't know. I don't know what how you're going with this episode. I don't know if we're going to get to this or not, but what it's caused from. Are we going to talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure you had that in there somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, you can now. I was just going to kind of go over, again, what we know is the facts of the stories, and then kind of go over the theories about.
Okay. Yeah. Go for it then. Keep going.
And honestly, we're almost there, right?
Right. That's why we're almost done.
So, for the rest of her life, not for the rest of her life, but for the 32 years, she would be given 2 glasses of milk per day, probably milk mixed with sugar, right? That milk sugar mixture.
Right.
Her mother would be the one who would give it to her up until her mother's death in 1904. Her dad tried to take on the responsibility. However, he was just too old at that point. He's an old man. He's tired. And so he hired a maid to take care of Karolina around the clock. And then she would resume that responsibility. They would leave food at her bedside, real food, just in case, she woke up. But the food was always untouched every time they came into the room. According to the maid, she never made any noises except for during 1904 and again in 1907 upon the deaths of her mother, and then 1907 one of her brothers. She would actually cry hysterically while still not acknowledging anybody around her and and just asleep still. On April 3rd, 1908, Karolina would finally wake up. The maid found her crying and crawling around the room. I saw an instance where somebody said she was jumping around the room.
Yeah.
But another that said that she was actually crawling around on the floor of the room, and she was hysterically crying. She was asking for her mom. She was very confused. Obviously, her mom's dead. And eventually her brothers kind of came in, and she didn't recognize any of them. Because they're 32 years later. And kind of the reality of her situation started to kind of set in. She really didn't have any ill effects of being asleep for 32 years, aside from being weak, pale, and frail, having a light sensitivity for a couple of days. And more notably, she didn't really seem to age much past about 25 to 30 years old, despite the fact that she was 46. So, now that those are reportedly the facts, let's get into kind of the speculation and the theory of everything.
I don't even know. There's so much, but even when you read about the disorder, that doesn't make sense. And then you're like, you really can't do that for 32 years. That doesn't make sense either.
Yeah. So there's all these different, right, I agree. None of it really seems to match what we're talking about. If what we just said is 1000% the truth, right? If all that is true, then nothing seems to match it.
Correct.
Again, they diagnosed her with this dementia paralytica, which is pretty much a symptom of syphilis.
And you don't do that when you're 12. Usually.
Well, back in the 1800s, they definitely could.
I I guess. I don't know. I wasn't from back then.
You
I don't
know,
remember that life.
it could also be caused by meningitis, basically.
Okay, that could be a possibility.
Meningitis. But it's again, it's a symptom of something else, which of course we don't. She was never proven to have those things. And again, we're talking about chronic meningitis. We're
Okay.
talking about untreated syphilis, right? To almost to the point to where you're close to death. I mean, the people that have something like this end up having either, first of all, they just straight up fucking die because they're so
Right.
sick, or B, they end up having very, very permanent brain damage going forward, which again, she did not have either of those, death or
Mhm.
brain damage. In fact, she ended up living to the ripe old age of 88.
Yeah, which is really old for that time.
That's really old for this time.
Yeah, but it's like super old for then.
Right. So she was, by all accounts, healthy, and
Right.
we believe at that time maybe she died of a brain aneurysm, which is just, well, it's kind of something that you don't really have choice over.
Mhm.
So nothing that seemed to have been caused by this long term sleep. So that doesn't really fit the narrative. I've also seen people describe potentially hypersomnia,
Okay.
which is like the opposite of insomnia. And insomnia, you can't sleep it on. Hypersomnia, you sleep for like 20 hours a day and you can't really help it. It seems to be some type of neurological disorder, that happens to some people, but it doesn't just like cure one day.
Okay.
You don't just eventually, normally you kind of probably end up dying from other things that aren't directly associated with hypersomnia as far as like symptomatic physically. But just like in general, you don't have a very good quality of life if you're sleeping for 20 hours a day,
Yeah, who wants to do that?
Right. Which causes,
I kid and I say I want to do that right now, but that's just because I'm tired, but I want to wake up.
it does sound nice. Yeah, I saw somebody somebody was like, oh my God, she slept for 32 years. Like, that's the dream. And other people are like, that's called depression. It's like, oh, shit. And I evaluated myself a little bit. I'm like, but no, like, when you're a sleepy adult, you're like, yeah, it sounds great. But it really wouldn't. It would be terrible.
Yeah, that'd be awful.
Another thing that people had mentioned, oh my God, I feel like I'm breezing through these and I need to slow it down. It's something called encephalitis lethargica.
I don't know if I read that one.
Yeah, so the encephalitis lethargica is known as the sleep epidemic of 1916.
Okay.
So this one's really interesting. So in France, they had this really weird, I mean, Google it if you want to, but it's actually really horrifying, the pictures. But they had this strange epidemic of all these people who, almost suffered the same thing. Like they were just really sleepy. They were really sleepy guys. And they just really couldn't seem to stay awake. Sometimes it followed symptoms like illnesses and things of that nature. And people couldn't really figure out what the fuck was going on. And it stayed that way for like, I don't know, it was like 30 years. It's like, I don't know, it wasn't that long. It was like the 1930s by the time this sort of cleared up. And even to this day, there's certain physicians that believe that this was also some type of mass hysteria event for people. Because it just kind of seemed to disappear and didn't really affect anybody going forward. And that was it. It's a really interesting story. If you really want to get into the sleep epidemic of 1916 and dig into that, but it only seemed to happen in like France and Italy, and then didn't really affect anybody after that point. I think there was another one that I had here, but I guess I didn't write it down. I don't know what happened there. I deleted it.
Do you have KLS?
No.
The Klein-Levin syndrome?
Go ahead.
So it's a rare neurological disorder, often called sleeping beauty syndrome, familial hibernation syndrome. it is characterized by recurrent long episodes of excessive sleep up to 20 hours a day alongside behavioral, cognitive, and emotional disturbances. It primarily affects adolescent males and features periods of normal life between attacks. So they were trying to say that KLS is what like doctors nowadays would think she would have, maybe, and the symptoms are sleeping 16 to 20 hours a day, intense confusion, memory loss, dreamlike state of attachment, compulsive excessive eating, uninhibited wow, I can't talk. Inappropriate sexual behavior, irritability, apathy, childish behavior, and aggressions. So they have like treatment that's supported like for this syndrome now. Like people still have this, and like they give stimulants for sleepiness and lithium sometimes to stabilize it. So what they're thinking is maybe back then, with not knowing anything, the 16 to 20 hours a day that people sleep could extend a lot longer if they didn't have like the treatments for it.
Wow. My gosh.
So I don't know if like the lithium and stuff is supposed to be taken like every day to like kind of kick your body past that state, or if it's just like when it happens you take like I don't know how it works, but
Sure.
I would assume that the stimulants would wake you up. Maybe since if she didn't have any stimulants, she was just like in a dreamlike state all the time.
Yeah. Well, there was also a potential association with the toothache that people like a symptom that can come from having like a toothache. Oh my gosh, why didn't I write this down? I'm so lazy. That could have been, it basically could have caused this super sleepiness, right, with the infection. But you wouldn't have an infection for 32 years.
Right, you would die before that. I mean,
right. It would just kill you. Right.
It's an infection.
Especially, a toothache at that time is terrible.
And you're getting like force-fed sugar water.
Yeah, your mouth would be pissed off.
Right.
Yeah. So, there are a lot of these disorders out there. And there's plenty more. I don't know if you had any more that you specifically wanted to talk about. Please share them.
Can we go over the hysteria thing? Like, do you have anything from Plato and Freud?
I don't.
Okay. So let me do this because it's freaking hilarious how the philosophers back then thought of women. Okay, so first I looked up the actual definition of hysteria because I needed to know exactly what it was after I was reading about these philosophers. And it says that, for definition, hysteria was once a medical diagnosis for women. It was described as a wide array of symptoms, including anxiety, shortness of breath, fainting, nervousness, exaggerated and impulsive sexual desire, insomnia, fluid retention, heaviness in the abdomen, irritability, loss of appetite for food or sex, sexually impulsive behavior, and a tendency to cause trouble for others. So that was the definition of hysteria as a medical problem.
So literally any problem at all.
Exactly. Anything that's wrong with you, it is hysteria, but it was mainly focused toward women. So Plato, back in the day, Plato, the OG philosopher, thought that women who demonstrated signs of hysteria, insomnia, nervousness, or fainting had something called roaming uterus. Have you ever heard of the roaming uterus?
I bought one a couple years ago.
Okay, so his thought was that the uterus could wander throughout the body, putting pressure on all your other organs, causing all kinds of different symptoms. So the womb was the reason why women were so crazy and why men couldn't identify with the craziness that the women showed. But there was a cure, Plato said. So if you had a wandering uterus, the womb was delighted by fragrant smells and would move towards those fragrant smells. So if you find that your uterus is on the move, All you have to do is lay on your back, find something that smells really sweet, lay it down on your stomach there, relax, read a book, listen to some music, and wait for your uterus to find its way home again, and you would be cured.
What in the
This is science, people. Science.
real science? Can you
This
imagine
is what they went by.
sitting in your chair and be like, oh, hold on, I gotta adjust my uterus, and then standing up and wiggling around and then sitting again? Like,
So Plato had his one idea, and then years later comes along Freud. Being Freud and the famous philosopher that he is, he had another reason why women were so crazy. He said women experienced hysteria because they were unable to reconcile with the loss of their metaphorical penis. And Freud also has a cure. So this is a 3-step cure that Freud has come up with. So 1, you find a man, preferably with a penis attached. Marry that man, and then you have a baby. And after that 3-step process, you will regain the penis you have lost, and you will be cured.
what, how do you? But
It's metaphorical.
I
That
mean,
was the men's way of explaining away everything that they didn't understand about women.
I mean, okay, listen, I'll level with them a little bit, because the amount of times that I have fucking raged while I am somewhere and I have to pee and there's nowhere for me to properly take a piss. Like, I get it. Yeah, sometimes if I had a penis, I thought about this so much. Like, if I had a penis, I would put it in everything.
Brandon just stopped in his tracks and looked at me like,
Okay.
that's your friend, right? With the red hair.
Yes, and I'm mad about not having a penis. It's science. Freud said so, damn it.
Hey, it's our metaphorical penis.
I mean, so, like I said, I kind of dig it a little bit, to be honest with you. That does make sense, but I will say that having a child did not cure my penis envy, because it's still there.
So you still gotta pee.
I still gotta pee. I gotta squat to pee, and I gotta find somewhere to do it and not piss all over my goddamn self. It's one of those things. My friend, her parents had this angel statue on the side of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And like super late at night when we would like stop by the house for whatever reason, and instead of like going in to pee, all the guys would just pee on the angel statue's face.
Oh my gosh.
And I was always so jealous that I couldn't participate. I mean, I guess I probably could have, but it'd be difficult,
Right.
Just saying, if I had a penis, I would pee everywhere on everything, and I'd stick it in all the things, and not even all the people. Like, I would just stick it in things. Be like, what's that like? So. So like I said, I get it. Anyway, back to Freud.
Yeah.
So, okay. So what is, how does this compare to Karolina's hysteria and her time?
So basically, they were just there. So the YouTube video that I was watching explained hysteria and how hysteria was explained throughout the like generations or whatever, and the time periods. So to say that, for the doctors to say that she has hysteria and is just sleeping all the time, like, basically hysteria has no like plain definition, and the doctors have no idea what is wrong with her, because it could mean so many different things. Yeah. Like, she's sad because she's missing a penis, or her uterus has wandered off too far, or like, I don't know.
So they were actually onto something when they called the midwife.
Right.
Potentially.
They needed help locating her uterus to bring it back home.
I probably just walked off that day, right? And that's what the toothache came from there, because it came out through her mouth and was lost for years.
There's nothing to do with those two things and her case, like, specifically. It's just the fact that somebody tried to diagnose her with hysteria just means they have no idea what's going on with her.
Something's wrong. We've covered hysteria a lot on this show, just talking about different events that people have experienced. Where,
right. It's more, you can definitely use it more to define an event than a medical symptom.
Right. But it has been used for both.
Right.
It's the fucking weather balloon of the medical world, right? Like super
Mhm.
easy cop out. Probably not accurate. And that's why we don't use it today, right? Because we're better than that now.
Right.
Um,
We literally just say, I don't know.
no, I don't know. But there's so much about this that kind of as you do more digging, because the chunk that we shared here in the beginning is literally just barely scratching the surface. And again, all these medical diagnoses, none of them, except for maybe technically hysteria, because again, it fits everything, none
Right.
of them fit this situation because she was fine, went to bed fine, aside from a toothache, which was not uncommon for the time. They didn't really have good dental care or good drinking water. She went to bed okay, and then she woke up 32 years later, fine and normal and nothing wrong, no lasting effects. However, when you start to dig a little bit deeper, there are other potential explanations for Karolina's issue. First of all, the first one being, of course, that she wasn't actually asleep for 32 years. Like the obvious, right? Clearly, that's not what was happening. One thing that people point out is that if she were really comatose, they wouldn't have been able to feed her the milk sugar.
Right.
Like she would just
She would need a feeding tube, which they did not have.
Right, they did not have. She would have choked on it, or just would have dribbled it out of her mouth, or whatever. She wouldn't have been able to get up after 32 years.
Right. She'd just fall over.
Right, like it wouldn't work. Other things, the maid did report on occasion that there would be odd things like pieces of clothing missing from different areas, like things moved around the room. And
because even though it was a 1-bedroom house, the maid did go outside and do stuff and went and run errands and then come back later to check on her.
And because this was, especially during that time, all homes during that time were like working farms, right? There was shit that you had to do outside of the home, and Karolina did those things outside of the home typically. But because she's not around to do them now, and there's no matriarch because she's dead, the maid has to now attend to those things. But yeah, different like little pieces of candy and things like that would be gone. The meals and stuff they do maintain were untouched, but food would come up missing, and just different things that were weird. There were again multiple reports that came in different capacities of Karolina doing things like praying, crawling around the room, her actually getting up and doing something, even though she didn't seem aware of the things that she was doing. Or again, she didn't seem that way. Doesn't mean she didn't realize it. One theory that I saw posed was Munchausen syndrome from her own mother.
Okay.
So maybe Karolina had this toothache and she went to go to bed and mom was mothering her, and Karolina was getting some type of attention from this, and maybe that's something she didn't get very often, and so she just continued to play the bit while mom continued to kind of hype her up. Oh, my poor baby, you're so sick, you can't even open your eyes. And then after years went on of this, they had doctors and stuff that definitely wanted to, come and see Karolina for their own eyes. But listen, if they cured this woman of some crazy new illness and they discovered something, they could make a lot of money off of that.
Oh, yeah.
And so they started paying the family for them to come examine her. So maybe they were gaining something out of it. Was certainly a possibility, because the only way she could have physically gotten up out of bed that day would have been for her to had been getting up out of bed.
Right, because her muscles would be like jello if she was actually asleep for 32 years.
Like, they literally would not work. Like, there are people that go in a coma for weeks who have to regain walking after that. Like, bed sores and things like that. And there didn't seem to be anything like that going on with her. And she
was still, even after her mother died, and the maid not doing it, her hair was still clean every day.
Right. She was clean. She was kept. So, I mean, the fact that her hair and nails didn't grow, I mean, or whatever, well, they were upkeeping them.
Mm-hmm.
They were growing. They were just upkeeping.
See that when the mother was alive, but if it still happened after she died, and you're not going to say the old father was doing it, and the maid says she doesn't do it.
Right. So she's doing it. Right.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a lot of clues, like I said, more clues that she actually was not asleep during that time period than there were that she was, in fact, in a coma during that time period. She had to have been getting some movement somewhere, and it definitely still could have been psychosomatic. This may not have been by choice, because here's the thing, especially with the 2 glasses of milk a day thing like that, there's a lot of question about whether or not you could actually survive off of that.
You cannot.
For 32 years,
Yeah.
With dehydration and
Baby's got to
everything.
start drinking food or eating food after a while.
At some point, the midwife could tell you that.
Right.
Around. So, I mean, there's just certain things. So obviously she was getting nutrients from somewhere, probably not a lot of them, because she was really tiny.
Mm-hmm.
But she wasn't like deathly ill, small or anything.
No, but it did say, because her mom died in 2004 and she awoke in 2008, it said that she lost a lot of weight after her mom died from when she woke up.
Interesting. Had her most weight lost in that time period.
Yeah, a significant amount of weight was lost from the time her mom died until she woke up.
So that kind of feels like mom was in on it then. Because
Right.
a lot of people think that mom knew.
Mm-hmm.
Like, mom was aware that she would awaken, but just kind of played it off as if she wasn't awake. Again, going back to that Munchausen by proxy situation, where potentially, mom was feeding into it for whatever gain that she had. And maybe that is the case. But like I said, there were cases of food being left out, allegedly, that wasn't eaten. Or, why would you do this? Why would you throw your life away for 32 years?
Well, like, the only thing that doesn't this is what, like, makes me question it still. If she wasn't sleeping and she was, like, aware of everything that was going on, but just, like, pretended to be sleeping all this time, I could handle the pain of, like, needle sticking into me and not, like, budge. But I don't think I can do 7 rounds of electroshock therapy and not have any effect that shows you I'm still asleep.
Like, that's not. And I mean, this is like the early 1900s. No, I'm sorry. This was the late 1800s. They were doing this. They didn't have fucking meds to put her under.
Like, you were just getting shocked.
They bore a fucking hole into her skull and shocked her. Like, right on the brain. And she still didn't go, you know what? I was just kidding. It was a joke. It was a prank, bro. She didn't.
Like, that's the part that makes absolutely no sense to me. Like, nothing fits this case. Nothing.
No, because, not even the it's all fake.
Right. It can't be.
So it is. It is very strange. And again, just a period. Like, I would be so, like, I might be able to do this for like a week. Maybe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Laying there for a week, pretending to be asleep. But for 32 years putting on the show,
I don't even think I could do it for a week, because she would obviously have to, like, piss herself.
But she wasn't pissing herself. Like, that was another thing too. She wasn't, like, soiling the bed. So, like, how was she going to the bathroom? And nobody, like, answers that, like, ever has any answers. Like, what, were they picking her up and dragging her out to the outhouse?
I never even saw that in anything that I read or listened to, like, anything about bathroom.
Right. Nobody even talks about
Right.
it. So it's like, okay, so was she just soiling herself? I mean, you would think that would be mentioned when these doctors show up and come to examine her, that she's, like, soiled.
Right. Because they didn't have catheters back then.
No. She was,
even if they did, who was going to put it in?
She was described as kept. I mean, she looked pristine. it is a really weird situation. And the aging thing is not that strange because if she wasn't really out in the sunlight,
Right.
she's not. I mean, that's bound to happen. The sun's actually not that good. Not that good for you.
But in my opinion, she definitely looked like she was in her 40s in those pictures.
I don't think she looked very young. Yeah,
No, not at all.
but maybe 20-year-olds look like they were in their 40s.
They did. Have you ever looked like back in the day at yearbook pictures?
Oh yeah.
And like someone's 10th grade picture looked like they were 55.
Yeah. Well, I watch a bunch of 70s and 80s horror movies. And
Yeah.
it's like, man, how old were those actors? And they were only like, so old. Like I saw a post and it was talking about like these different like sitcom families and how old they were. And I saw like Al and Peg Bundy were like as old as I am now. And I'm like, no motherfucking way.
Yeah, I know, right?
No fucking way.
Yep.
Although I could see myself as a Peg Bundy.
Oh yeah, definitely. You got the hair already.
Yeah. I got those Peg Bundy vibes. I'm like a mix between Peg Bundy and Peggy Hill. That's
As long as it's a peg.
just a peg. Yeah, everything's always about pegging in my life. I don't.
Anybody show up at a vest at Frogman?
Not this year. They got wise to it. At least I didn't see them. I don't know. Maybe they were there waiting at the table and I never showed up. Next time. But yeah, it is. I mean, this is a really, really fascinating case. It's certainly one of its kind. We don't have anything like quite like this. We get people in a coma for many, many years.
Right.
And families that don't want to let go off of, people on life support and things like that, which is a totally other morbid, fucked up beast. Because like when you're in a coma and you're like, I'm sorry, and you're hooked up to machines and things, you start to rot. And it's like fucked up. Mm-hmm. Anyway, they really could keep you alive forever, but who the fuck would want that? But yeah, no, this is, I mean, it is. It's really interesting because you're right. Nothing seems to fit. Now, I said we would talk about school because here is something that is really interesting that nobody seems to think is relevant at all. Okay. Is that Karolina spent the first 14 years of her life being homeschooled and working for the family, right? That's what she did. A couple of months before this happens, she had just started school.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't like it.
There's some kind of like, I don't even know, what was it, a law or something? Like you had to go for such and such period of time to school, so she had to go to school.
Yeah, she had to go. She didn't want to.
Right.
You wanted to stay home and work with the family. And it wouldn't just, I mean, it was like, she had to walk like 20 miles to school. I don't remember exactly how long it was. It was crazy. It was crazy long walk. You're in fucking Sweden. It's cold all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And terrible. She hated it. She hated school. She wasn't very good at it, obviously. And she just didn't fucking want to be there. So it's really interesting that she had come home from school on the 18th, had hurt her head, okay, and then she comes home from school on the 22nd, had a toothache. It sounds like a kid trying to get out of fucking school.
Oh, yeah.
Why would you go in a coma for 32 years after that point? Well, if you have a 14-year-old non-educated education and you think that it's the law that if you go to school and if you hate it that much, your brain might rationalize, well, if I ever come out of this coma, whether it be today or 10 years, I still have to go to school. I just thought that was interesting. And like I said, I feel like that was something that people don't really mention a lot. This was a major life change for someone like her.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
I also try to like kind of think like if she fell on the ice and hit her head, did she have some kind of like trauma that went on and caused this to happen?
Yeah, she could have. I think that when she died, they should have taken her brain.
I don't know why they wouldn't have.
And kept it.
She had to be the last one in her family surviving.
Well, that's true. She probably didn't have any kids.
Right.
It didn't seem like she did. Seemed like she had a pretty good life after that point.
Mm-hmm.
But, she seemed happy. But yeah, I don't think she had any children. Or maybe the boys had kids. I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
They don't really talk about her family much.
No, not at all.
Which is weird. Like, what the fuck did her brothers think about all this?
Hold on, where's my notes? So it did say somewhere that, oh, maybe it didn't. Oh no, it said conjectured. That doesn't mean that it happened. Okay,
That's fair.
never mind. I take that back.
So after she wakes up, they did the media circuit a little bit, right? For about the first year. Everybody wanted to speak with her. And she did entertain it, but then after, not long after she wakes up, she kind of goes into hiding.
Oh yeah, the whole family did.
Yeah, and did not want to talk about it anymore. And that was that. They didn't talk about it anymore. So, like, the idea of them potentially making money off of the doctor visits and all that, well, that kind of dispels it a little bit, right? If they're not doing media appearances.
Right. But, I mean, was it because she didn't want to do media appearances? And, like, she didn't even have to be awake when the doctors were there, Like, she just got tired of it.
Well, that's true. And especially if it was all a lie, it's kind of hard. You don't really want to be questioned.
Right.
I'll be honest, guys, there's a lot of time. I have an opinion about a lot of things. Most of the times, I'm stumped on this one.
I have no idea. The electroshock therapy throws everything off that I could even think of this being like she was awake the whole time.
Like, this is genuinely baffling to me.
Because it says, like, they poked her with needles repeatedly. They, like, put her, like, skin up to hot flames, and they did electroshock therapy and never had, like, a flinch or anything.
Oh, yeah. They tried it
I
all.
got a lot of tattoos. I could probably do the needle ones. But I don't know if I can, like, get my skin burned or do electric shock therapy and not have any kind of reaction.
Oh, I don't know. Being someone that's got tattoos, sometimes they hit that spot and you're like, ooh, you cringe.
Right.
So even then, they just gotta stick it in the right place. You're like,
right.
Ouch. You'd let out something, a wince, a whimper, something after all of that. So, like I said, I don't know. Different people have their ideas about what they think happened here. But, I think that when you lay all the cards on the table, that there's just nothing that really, there's nothing like it. There really isn't. This is a fucking wild case.
Right, because even if, okay, say you did have one of those, like, hyperinsomnia or the KLS or whatever, and you were literally in, like, hibernation mode for so many hours, like, would your body still react to pain?
I think that's a really valid question.
Because you're not, like, your brain's not shut down, you're just asleep.
Yeah. True. But, you're woken up by stuff, but I guess you are difficult to wake. I definitely know people, or I've known people that have had like narcolepsy, and they are extremely difficult to wake up, but difficult to the point where they go through electroshock therapy and don't wake up.
Right.
Or pain, or I don't know. I don't have the answers to that one.
Me neither. This is weird.
This is weird. This is definitely a weird episode. If you guys were here for the weird this week, you got it. You're welcome.
I cannot even form an opinion for somebody to argue with me with.
No.
Not that I want it, but I couldn't do it even if I tried.
No, I've got more questions than answers on this one. And now I'm especially concerned because I fucking have no clue where I got this topic from.
Yeah, no, mine's in a few weeks.
What was I reading about then? I swore this was you. I don't know how I got down this rabbit hole, but what the fuck? No, it
worked. It was a good rabbit hole, whatever it was.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's very. And I was worried about this episode being short, but here we are, and I just don't even know how to close it at this point. Fuck. Yeah, I don't know, guys. What do you think about this woman? The woman that slept for 32 years. Maybe there's something that we didn't cover that, other people have talked about. It's a little too late to kind of really study it in any type of real capacity because she's not alive.
Right.
So, I mean, if she were alive now, it'd be a little bit different.
But it
Yeah.
also seems like we pretty much, I think, hit everything, because I watched a lot of videos about this, and I've read a lot of articles that people have out there on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, like whatever they're putting it out on, and it's all the same story.
Yeah.
Like, and I think we hit like all the information like everybody together has come up with, and nobody has an answer.
Nope, we're just all throwing our hands up like, I don't know, man, it's fucking weird. It's a fucking weird story.
Are you back?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Oh my god, what happened? The fucking government kicked me off my own show. What the fuck?
They're always listening.
That's our cue to stop. I think they're like, you better stop talking. Or we're coming. Yeah,
It wasn't even our government.
right. The Swedes were like, what the fuck is this? Don't talk about our secret, lady. It was obviously a secret military mission by the Swedish at that time, to create literal sleeper soldiers. That's not what a sleeper soldier is, but for this case, we're going to pretend that's what it means. That's where the term came from. And here we are exposing all their secrets, right? We're asking too many questions. They don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that. But I don't know who stopped talking and who didn't, but that is, of course, what we pay Nate for. So he will fix it up and make it sound beautiful.
Of course.
But yeah, I got kicked off, guys. Sorry about that. My bad. So again, I think that's kind of our cue to wrap this episode up. Let's talk about it over on the Facebook group on Wednesdays We Talk Weird. Come talk about it with us at our monthly Patreon meetup, patreon.com/Wednesdays Talk. We are going to be meeting up on Thursday evening, just chit-chatting, talking about the most recent episodes, or it's just me and Cassie hanging out with each other, chit-chatting. That's fine. We'll do it.
Yeah.
But you should show up because you pay for
we're
it.
Friends. We got stuff to talk about.
Yeah, there's always something to talk about. So come check that out. Share your opinions about what you think about this case, or maybe the previous, maybe talk about Amityville a little bit more. That's fine too.
Oh, Amityville. What a lot of information.
Oh, Amityville. That old chestnut.
Good old Amityville. With that gorgeous, gorgeous bay window.
Man, I do love the windows, though.
Right?
Beautiful house. I'd buy it for $80,000. Fuck yeah.
Especially since there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, I'd buy it for $80,000.
Exactly. Just some people died there. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No big deal.
Now, if it was a funeral home, I might have to pass on that one. But
I feel like you could never get the smell out of a funeral home.
It's probably just like walking into a thrift store.
Yeah, you know the smell. But anyway, so yeah, definitely check us out over there on the Patreon. And with that being said, guys, we will see you back here next Wednesday.